Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's The Jewels of the Qur'an, Jawahir al-Qur'an. We are still reading the verses from Surah Yunus. These are the jewels from Surah Yunus, as Imam Ghazali points out. 18 verses. The last verse that we, two verses, but the last two verses that we have read were number 67 and 68, and they did include a reference to the nature of the night, and that it is time for sakina, وَجَعَلَكُمْ اللَّيْلَ لِتَسْكُنُوا فِيهِ, a time for time out, time for relaxation, time for tranquility, time for you should have gotten up in the morning. You should have worked and worked hard really on whether it's a job, whether it's your studies, whether you are a homemaker, which is really a very sublime thing to do, rather than distributing your time between the 8 hours at the job and then another 8 hours taking care of the family. It is doable, but it's extremely difficult. Night is really for replenishing your energy. And the Prophet ﷺ in the Sunnah, there are traditions that indicate after praying the Isha, it's not time for socializing with your spouse. Yes, okay, with your spouse, yes, but it's not time. It's not really time to go out in the middle of the night. And with all these gadgets that we have, it seems that going to bed is a difficult thing. People suffer from insomnia. Name it, all the negative. We are not talking about something haram. Even that which is halal, if it extends way into the night, way into the right before Fajr, as people sometimes do, even during Ramadan, and they will collapse before Fajr and they will not pray Fajr. وَالَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ اللَّيْلَ تَسْكُنُوا فِيهِ وَالنَّهَارَ مُبْصِرًا, and the daylight mubsira. The day does not see. It is you that you can see. You'll see the signs in the universe. You'll see the normal health. It should be the normal healthy activity after dawn. Nowadays, people who are not Muslims, it is fashionable. They speak about getting up early and very early and very, very early, and people speak about getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they go to the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they speak about the need for some meditation in the morning. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. Get up, make some dhikr, praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the blessing, for the gift of another day. Perform your wudu, pray Fajr. And as Imam Ghazali says about the division of the time after Fajr until sunrise, one part for dhikr, one part for the citation of the Qur'an, which is still dhikr, one part about for the supplications, for dua, and which is still dhikr, and one part to meditate literally on the universe, to ponder on these beautiful signs, to ponder on these beautiful natural phenomena. Whether you talk about the galaxies, whether you talk about the flora and fauna in your surroundings, appreciating the very small things in your surroundings, a sensitive sensitive heart, being attentive to what's going on. All this in لتسكنوا فيه والنهار مبصرة. We have changed the nature of things. We stay up during the night and we sleep through the morning. And before we realize it, we have missed the best part of the day for productivity. That is early morning. And do attempt to do the difficult things in the morning first, the complex things. When you have that kind of energy. Now we continue reading from the other verses from Surah Yunus, Prophet Yunus, Jonah عليه السلام. وقوله تعالى ولو شاء ربك لآمن من في الأرض كلهم جميعا أفأنت تكره الناس حتى يكونوا مؤمنين وما كان لنفس أن تؤمن إلا بإذن الله ويجعل الرجس على الذين لا يعقلون قل انظروا ماذا في السماوات والأرض وما تغني الآيات والنذر عن قوم لا يؤمنون. These are verses 99 to 101. Lord, surely all those in the earth would have believed without exception. Will you then force people to become believers? No one can believe except by the permission of God. He lays uncleanness upon those who do not use their understanding. Say to them, observe what is happening in the heavens and the earth, signs and warnings. However, do not avail a people who do not believe. The first verse here is number 99. Had Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed it so, then all people will have believed with His permission still. أَفَأَنْتَ تُكْرِهُ النَّاسِ. Then the understand, while this is a question, okay, will you then force people to become believers? Let's remember, we have immediately after the verse of the throne, Ayat al-Kursi, لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي. لا إكراه في الدين. There is no coercion in religion. Why it's a question, but the meaning is do not force people. People are free whether to believe or not to believe. فمن شاء فليؤمن ومن شاء فليكفر. People are free. And still, those who do believe, it is by permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do good, do seek the truth, do submit, attempt really to submit yourself to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless of your shortcomings, regardless of your weaknesses, regardless of your maybe sometimes some laziness, maybe whatever it could be, even a sin. Despite that, repent, go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, submit yourself. You have submitted yourself. Many people submitted themselves to the social trends of today, and they have become rather than becoming slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they serve these companies that by design keep you hooked to the social media and destroy your life. A famous contemporary psychologist from Canada said that students spend 6-7 hours every day university students, 6-7 hours every day on social media. If you think about it, uh, the 8 hours of sleeping, and take some time for your needs and food and cleanliness and what have you, and ultimately you add to this 6-7 hours, and what is left for productivity? Not that the rest will be dedicated to studying or to working, really. Yes, you are free to believe or not to believe, but do believe. If it did cross your mind, just gather your courage, roll up your sleeves, because it's going to be a challenge to. Because the moment you believe, there are implications. You are going to change your way of life. You will not miss anything in reality. You might be addicted to something before that. You might be accustomed to something before that. There's a hadith by Lady Aisha radiallahu anha, wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where she said that had the first thing that was revealed, do not drink wine, then people would have drank wine. But it was a call, first of all, to Tawheed, to believe in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As a result, later on, then it was a gradual prohibition. Okay, first of all, a verse that speaks about the negative, the harmful aspects of drinking alcohol, which we know very well today. Then do not pray while you are intoxicated, so that you may know what you are saying in your prayers. And then the total prohibition of alcohol. The mother of all evil, of the mother of alcohol, of all problems. A young American student driving while under the influence. She was legally intoxicated. She killed 2 people, and that's it. Her life was destroyed. The she shouldn't. Alhamdulillah. It's just like, for a typical Muslim family, بإذن الله عز وجل, there is no problem of alcohol consumption, intoxication, fear of driving while you are intoxicated, fear of that the girls will be raped at parties when they spice their drinks, fear of contracting diseases, all these things, the fires, name it. Just submit to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's really the solution to all these problems. The next verses, وقوله تعالى قل يا أيها الناس إن كنتم في شك من ديني فلا أعبد الذي تعبدون من دون الله ولكن أعبد الله الذي يتوفاكم وأمرت أن أكون من المؤمنين وأن أقم وجهك للدين حنيفا ولا تكونن من المشركين ولا تدع من دون الله ما لا ينفعك ولا يضرك فإن فعلت فإنك إذا من الظالمين وإن يمسسك الله بضر فلا كاشف له إلا هو وإن يردك بخير فلا راد لفضله يصيب به من يشاء من عباده وهو الغفور الرحيم قل يا أيها الناس قد جاءكم الحق من ربكم فمن اهتدى فإنما يهتدي لنفسه ومن ضل فإنما يضل عليها وما أنا عليكم بوكيل واتبع ما يوحى إليك واصبر حتى يحكم الله وهو خير الحاكمين. These are the verses 104 to 109. Say, O people, if you are in doubt concerning my religion, then, in brackets, let me make it clear to you that I do not worship those whom you worship apart from God. Rather, I worship God who will cause you to die, and I have been commanded to be of the believers. In brackets, I have also been commanded thus: devote yourself to the religion as a man of pure faith, and never be of those who associate partners with God. Do not call apart from God on anything which neither profits you nor harms you. For if you do so, you will surely be of the wrongdoers. If God afflicts you with distress, there is none who can relieve you of it but He. If He desires any good for you, there is none who can repel His bounty. He bestows it upon whomsoever of His servants. He bestows upon whomsoever of His servants He wills. He is the most forgiving, ever merciful. Say, O people, the truth has indeed come to you from your Lord. Then anyone who follows the guidance follows it only for the good of his own self, and anyone who errs does so only to his own detriment. I am not appointed a keeper over you. Follow that which is revealed to you. Be patient until God gives judgment. He is the best of judges. People raise questions when we talk about Islam. Some of these questions could be in good faith. Some of these questions are intended simply to cause doubt. These are not, sometimes there are YouTubers who dedicates their life to smear Islam, to spread misinformation. But the issue here, you have doubts. I'm not going to worship what you are worshiping. And think about it. I think about it. The Why would you worship uh, an idol? Why would you worship a statue, man-made, be it from bronze, be it from stone, be it from clay? Why would you? Why do you need to talk to that statue? The door between you and God is open. Just directly speak, directly ask Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Speak to God. God spoke to us. He revealed books, and the last of these books is the Qur'an. That's the last revelation. And you know very well that historically we do not have any new contenders. You know very well that no prophets after Prophet ﷺ emerged. No one whatsoever. And do not be of the polytheists, those who associate things or people or whatever object, whatever creature with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. That should not be the case. The commandment is to worship only Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, nothing else. Devoting oneself to the religion as a man of pure faith. وَأَنْ أَقِمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلدِّينِ حَنِيفًا. Pure faith. That's the Hanifiyya. And in fact, really, the faith of the prophets through and through. وَلَا تَدْعُ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ مَا لَا يَنفَعُكَ وَلَا يَضُرُّكَ. Do not really call on anything apart from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, apart from God. This could be, in general, It could be from non-Muslims. It could be sometimes from Muslims. I mean, this is because of culture, because of and worshiping idols. It's very clear in certain religions. There are still those in certain parts of the world who are pagans. I mean, that's exactly their classification. Totems and are still being worshipped. Spirits, uh, they worship ancestors. Um, but not only that. I mean, a Muslim, rather than saying, for example, Bismillah, rather than saying Ya Allah, uh, saying, for example, calling on a companion of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, calling on a companion, rather than saying Ya Allah, seeking help from Allah subhanahu wa taala. Why would you seek help from other than Allah subhanahu wa taala? And this is there are ample videos that show people in sports, for example, when they call on Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, karramallahu wajhah. Why is that? I would say alayhi salam, Ali al-Bayt, but that doesn't mean that you will call on Ali bin Abi Talib. One should really think about this. So, in general, it could be amongst non-Muslims, but also some Muslims might do such a really wrong thing, detrimental to the notion of Tawheed. Regarding what benefits you or what hurts you, uh, literally yesterday I was at in our neighborhood buying some fruits and vegetables, and one of the shop owners, the son, out of a sudden left the shop and went outside, and within a few minutes I learned that his new car, which he bought the day before, it seems, was scratched by a driver who happened to be a lady, and the older man said a statement: our happiness is never complete. So whenever we are happy for something, that something has to happen and spoil it for us. And the younger man cursed all women because they do not know how to drive, which is not true. They do know how to drive, and there are men who do cause accidents. In fact, yesterday, still in the neighborhood, a driver, I literally in these old neighborhoods, I literally backed backward so that I'll make room for him. Uh, and nevertheless, his mirror hit my mirror. He did not even bother to stop and say sorry. At any rate, so he's a man. Do you curse all men for not? So when he cursed all women, he cursed his mother, he cursed his sister. I'm not sure whether he's married or not. He's young. But my reaction was very simple. You were not patient. You were not patient. You did not realize that things happen. That things, whether it's the first day or after 5 years, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. All that you have to do is uh, have patience, and you may forgive. Have patience, because وَالْقَاضِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ, you suppress your anger, your frustration, your don't say something that you regret later on. And that's Quranic. وَالْقَاضِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ وَالْعَافِيَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. It seems that the Quran says after you suppress, it is obviously the case, of course. After you suppress your negative energy, negative emotions, forgive. وَالْعَافِيَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. And number 3, وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. You could basically say something extremely nice to the person who just scratched your car, or made a small dent. After you forgive, say something really good, because rather than making it a source of pain for you and for the other driver, whether it's your body, a disease, whether it's your car, whether it's your job that you lose, or whatever is the case. If you are going to benefit, if something that will benefit you, it is really from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are subjected to a calamity on any level, know that it could be worse. Know that any calamity other than, if it's material, it is very small compared to a calamity that hits one's religion. So one loses faith because of a statement or because of action itself, unless really like prostrating for before an idol or something like that. So if it's something good coming your way, no one can stop it. If it's something that is going to hurt you, no one can stop it. All that matters ultimately is what goes in your heart. And the very last verse, really, in this group, it speaks about following revelation. It's a commandment. وَاتَّبِعْ مَا يُوحَى إِلَيْكَ. And have patience. Be patient until God gives judgment. Until God gives judgment. وَاصْبِرْ حَتَّى يَحْكُمُ اللَّهُ. Really, it's about do not really transgress. That's my understanding. I can see that calamities are befalling Muslims and non-Muslims, but it seems that our share in the region here in the Middle East is larger than others in the third world, who are still suffering from the repercussions of the old colonial times. It began with the Napoleon Bonaparte campaign on Egypt and Palestine in 1798 to 1801. So we have a couple of 100 years of direct colonialism and indirect colonialism and interference in our region, dividing the region. And we can see that we don't have to go through all the lists. Just remember that the war on Iraq was done and against, and it was a direct violation of international law. The pretext for the war, all the pretexts were absolutely a big lie. President Bush and Prime Minister Blair, they knew that there were no weapons of mass destruction. Later on, it became their relation to Al Qaeda in Iraq. There was no such a thing. Number three, it became to disseminate democracy. And do you kill 1 million people to spread democracy? And think Libya, think Sudan, think Yemen, think Syria, think. I'm not saying that people in these regions are without. They should basically also admit their share of wrong decisions, but ultimately we are not being left alone. Do not transgress. For example, let me say you have the right to defend yourself, but you don't have the right to attack those whose life has been protected. Say the elderly, non-combatant women, the children, all these monks, priests, clergy, places of worship. You don't attack that. I'm talking about Muslims not attacking, because non-Muslims are attacking. They are destroying churches and mosques. And this is where wasbir hatta yahkum Allah. Have patience. Just simply be steadfast on the right path, and in this life and in the hereafter. But in this life too, you should have also patience and with being steadfast on the right path, on the straight path. There is no other option but to manifest, to show really the genuine Islamic position in times of calamities. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Inshallah, we will begin reading from the jewels of Surah Hud. There are 11 verses in the next session, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.